Okay, so we have run all of the tests for the analysis of our data set for the results of our hypotheses. Our data set also has some demographic variables in it. So ethnicity, race, gender, and age. So these are the demographics of our participants. So we'll need to run some analyses on these demographics to find out the demographic makeup of our participants that took our study. So to do that, you will go to the top menu and click Descriptives. And we'll start with ethnicity, and you'll just move it over to variables. And you can see that it starts to give me the results over here. So right now it's telling me that out of my 105 participants, one of them did not fill out this question. But that's not really the information that I'm wanting for this analysis. I want the frequencies. So I want to know the percentage of the ethnicity responses. So I'll go to tables and frequency tables for this. And look at the results. So what you'll want for this is the percent, so this column here. So what this is telling me is out of my 105 participants, 66.67% of my participants identified as Hispanic and 32.38% identified as non-Hispanic. So you'll use that information for the method section of your final paper under the participant subsection. You'll also report the race of your participants, and you'll get the same thing, the frequency tables. And again, you want the percent. So I can see here that out of my participants, 0.95% identified as Asian or Asian American, 8.57% identified as Black or African American, 0.95% identified as being both Black African American and white European American. 43.81% identified as Latino, and 32.38% identified as white or European American. 2.86% identified as Middle Eastern or North African. And then all of these other ones are combinations. So the easiest way to report this, there's several ways that you can go about it, but in my opinion, the easiest way to report this is to report the single identifiers. So 4.3 or 43.81% identified as Latino, 32.38% identified as white or European American, 8.57% identified as Black or African American, 0.95% identified as Asian or Asian American, 2.86% identified as Middle Eastern or North African, and then I would take all of the combination, so those that identified as more than one race, I would add the percentages, so 0.95 plus 0.95 plus 0.95 plus 7.61 and so on, and I would report that sum as such and such percent identified as more than one of the above races. You can, if you would like, report each of these individually, but that will take up a lot of your participant section, and it might just be a lot of information to put out there. So again, it's up to you, but you will need this information to report in the participant subsection of your method section. So we have our frequencies for ethnicity and race. We'll also need gender. And again, you'll use the percents for reporting. So 74.29% identified as female, and 24.76% identified as male. And last, you'll need the average age. So for this one, you don't want the percentages. Because age is reported as a numerical value, we can actually get some numerical statistics from that. So we can get the average age. So up under the descriptive statistics, you have age, and it actually gives us the mean and standard deviation. So these two values are what you'll report for the age of your participant. So for this study, out of the 105 participants, the average age was 23.03 with a standard deviation of 4.93. And that's all you'll need for the demographics. And so you'll report that in the method section, specifically the participant subsection of the method section.